Welcome to Peru. From its sprawling mountain landscapes to its lush evergreen forests, the South American nation of Peru is known for its diverse geography and overflowing natural resources. Filled with minerals like gold, silver, copper, lead, iron, and zinc, Peru contains some of the most valuable natural resources in the world. However, it is also home to desperately poor and indigenous populations. Peru's contradiction of impoverished people living on rich land has been a long and enduring issue. The country's potential seems limitless, but income mobility continues to be a pressing issue for the Peruvian people. This is Carlos. He lives with his family in the highlands where his dad, Alejandro, works for an important copper mining company. Carlos is very excited for his last year of high school. He is an excellent student and loves reading stories about the ancient civilizations of his region's past, the Moche, Chimu, and Incan people. Carlos has always been interested in geology too, but he is still undecided about what to study in college and needs to figure out what his career path will be. Carlos will be the first person in his family with the opportunity to go to a university, so he wants to make sure that his degree is a useful one. Carlos loves his grandfather Yachay. As a direct descendant of the Inca, Yachay is Quechua. In fact, his name means wisdom in the Quechua language, and he lives up to it. Yachay tells his grandchildren many interesting stories about their Incan ancestry and the great natural resources in Peru. He is especially proud that the Inca developed advanced mining techniques many years ago to harvest minerals from the earth. One reason Yachay is so proud of his people's mining heritage is that mining has given him and his family a new trajectory in life. Yachay used to herd llamas in a rural area with limited access to basic services and education for his children, leaving him worried about his family's future. However, when he took a full-time job with a mining company, the consistent pay allowed him to provide for his family and break the cycle of poverty. Peru used to be very poor, with socialist governments tightly controlling the mines through a planned economy. They attempted to solve the issue of income disparity by redistributing wealth through high taxes. This only discouraged work and hindered economic growth. However, in the 1990s, the government allowed private businesses to operate the mines, leading to incredible results. Thanks to the new free market policies, investments from around the world poured in, improving life for many Peruvians and creating a new middle class. Carlos's dad, Alejandro, works for the same mining company as Yachay, which produces 2% of the world's copper. Alejandro is very happy to follow in his father's footsteps by working for a company that produces a material that is in high demand. He also enjoys building on the family legacy, as he has moved up from a maintenance position to heavy equipment operation. His promotion has allowed him to provide an even more stable life for his family. Because of the steady work at the mine, the family has become socially mobile, and Alejandro hopes to continue that climb towards prosperity by providing education and setting an example for his children. Thanks to Alejandro's hard work, his children have been able to go to very good schools, and it fills him with pride to know that attending a university is finally a real possibility for someone in the family. He is hopeful that Carlos will follow in his father and grandfather's footsteps and make even greater strides towards success. Carlos has always loved visiting his father at work, and before his next school year starts, he wants to take advantage of every opportunity he can get to spend time with Alejandro at the copper mine. Carlos's last visit started off just like every other visit, until loud crashes and banging erupted from outside. Something was wrong. Angry shouting echoed throughout the facility. Protesters were storming the mine. Large mining operations have often been a source of conflict in Peru. Alejandro's mine was already the site of protests and riots in 2016. The mine is on land belonging to indigenous people, so the company made a deal with them at first. But the people changed their minds later on. More recently, political crises have arisen in the Peruvian government. Weeks of violent turmoil resulted in the closure of mines at a loss of 25,000 tons of copper production each month. Every time the mine is shut, it jeopardizes Alejandro's livelihood. Even though Peru's land is rich with natural resources, its people still suffer without political stability. A consistent government creates a good environment for businesses and investors to grow, but corruption, protests, riots, and violence can hinder progress. Political stability and economic freedom provide an important foundation for people to succeed through hard work. As protesters rampaged through the worksite, Carlos and Alejandro quickly hopped into their car to escape the chaos. Carlos looked back and saw the protesters setting up camps and destroying the mine's machinery. He wondered how the mine could function with so much damage and so many people in the way. He knew that stopping production would affect not only the families of all the miners, but Peru's entire economy as well. Even as they drove further and further away, Carlos couldn't stop thinking about the situation and couldn't ease his worries. At last, Carlos has started his final year of high school, and even though a new school year is always filled with many emotions, the fear and anger from the violent protest at the copper mine are still very vivid in his memory. The mine had to shut down production for several weeks, which cost the company a lot of money and nearly 30% of its copper output. The shutdown ultimately hurt everyone: the mine, the workers, the economy, and the Peruvian people. Through experiencing the disruption in person, Carlos better understands why mining is so important to his father and grandfather. The lost work and wages really hurt his family, and he could sense the fear and worry that his dad felt. Every day, Alejandro prayed about the situation with the protesters, and Carlos gained a greater understanding of what the work in the mine provides for him and his family. He suddenly developed a greater appreciation for the opportunities he now has. Carlos has finally made up his mind about what he would like to study in college next year. Inspired by his grandfather and father, Carlos wants to continue to climb the ladder they have set before him. He wants to take classes in geology and engineering so that he can be a mining engineer and perhaps one day lead his own mining company. Carlos desperately wants the economy and his fellow Peruvians to thrive, and he hopes that his example, like that of his father and his grandfather before him, will inspire others to work hard and make Peru a politically secure and economically free nation. Until then, Carlos is diligent at school, earning good grades in all of his classes, and taking advantage of the hard-earned opportunities before him.